solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
Hello?
KFAN's pissing on me.
Yeah, Rosie.
Jimmy drops back, avoids the rush, looking over the middle. It's Deuce, and it's caught. A diving catch. It didn't look like he needed to dive for it, but Deuce intentionally slowed down in order to make the acrobatic, heroic catch. I haven't seen that move since a certain Dan Cole intentionally slowed down in Little League Coon Rapids baseball tryouts. Like father, like son, and that's a Thunder first down. Little Giants ball, 3rd and 8, deep in their own territory, and the Thunder showing blitz. Jimmy takes the snap. Here comes Deuce, and Deuce grabs his flag. It's a sack. The Little Giants will have to punt. First, he's a sure-handed, precise route-running tight end. Now he's a fierce pass-rushing, Rock of Gibraltar defensive end. Is there anything that Deuce can't do? And now he's going to return the punt that the Little Giants will have to do. This kid is amazing. For the first time all day, the Thunder forced the punt, 4th and 15, and Deuce takes the long snapping honors. Deuce snapped it. He snapped it to the up man. It's Robbie, and Robbie looks surprised. He hasn't seen the football all day, and Robbie's flag is snatched. What was he thinking? Now there's a man with a backwards beret running out on the field while talking on the phone. He's yelling at Deuce, and yes, Deuce did just yell back, "You're insane," because he tried to snap it to the up man. The Thunder give up the ball deep in their own territory. Not sure what Deuce was thinking there.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
Were you even slightly bit nervous?
I was a little bit. I just felt like I would have heard something if you weren't here.
It was $1.25, 125 in the open, and you had not seen or heard hide nor hair. Well, you don't have any hair.
That's correct.
I do.
Not on my head. Anyway.
Yeah, well, okay. I have all sorts of it. If I could share it with you, I would, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah, well, I get lost in the Savoy truffle, and I kind of lost track of time and didn't realize my show's about to start. I was holding court with the salespeople, telling them, I said, if any of you have any ideas for advertising, I said, even if I don't make any money off of it, it's okay, because you're all making more money off of me than I'm making off me and I'm me. I just want to help you. I want to help those to help themselves. And I looked at a couple of them and I said, I have more years of radio experience than you have just years lived on this planet. I got all, now they're not all good ideas, trust me, but I got plenty of ideas. As a matter of fact, if you are a business owner and you are looking to grow your business, to attract more customers, contact the Radio Advertising Bureau or this radio station, because radio is red hot. Matter of fact, if you listen to this, I'm gonna say let's play, so a little spittle comes out.
Yeah.
And listen what happens when it hits the microphone. Let's play. That's how hot radio is. The the spittle on the microphone it's just like if you were trying to pan sear some tilapia. You know, Rosen loves to eat tilapia, and I heard from somebody that like tilapia, just like they eat like, and somebody sent me an email and says tilapia basically eats sewage. That's what they eat. That's what's. So then basically, that's even I've heard that about lobster too. That lobster eats like all the junk that's on the bottom of the ocean floor, but it sure tastes good. You like lobster? It's too expensive. I don't like it enough to justify the cost of it. You go to one of those fancy pants restaurants, they don't even have the price, or they don't even sticker shock it. It's always market price. In other words, we'll mark it up when we want to mark it up. That's what it is. And I get it. I mean, it's a free country, except it's not free because they're not going to. It's sort of like, I've done the bit before about, ground, I serve ground chuck or London broil. Have you heard that story?
I don't know.
I love recanting tales because I got nothing else today. Oh, I got plenty. Ask me. Oh, first of all, I'm done.
What?
No, not working.
Oh.
I'm done shoveling snow in the driveway or blowing snow. I'm not doing it. I woke up this morning with a wine glass in my hand. Whose wine? What wine? Where the hell did I dine? And there was snow. And guess what? I was awakened abruptly by my wife. Dan, she doesn't call me common. Dan, my car's got a flat tire.
Oh.
No! So I got up, got out of bed, didn't even have time to drag a comb across my head. Just in sweatpants, my extra large Lion sweatpants that are just falling off me. Somebody gave them to me one time. I don't know why. I still love wearing them. I'm stumbling. I get in the car and I have to drive her. And I look out and there. I have to. My car. This is the kind of I give and give and give till I'm about to give out. I let Deuce park in the garage and I let Potato park in the garage. I park outside the garage.
Oh.
I get out there to give her a ride to work, and there's snow all over the car. I go, I'll take you in your car. She says, my car has a flat tire. I said, that's right. That's why I'm half asleep still, right? So that's right. That's why I'm taking you to work, because you have a flat tire on your car. And I knew it was going flat because I went to charge it at the dealership, and my wife, the technology is so simply amazing. Now, she calls me up on the phone or texts me and says, my app says I have low tire pressure in my right front tire. Her phone told her that. And so I go talk to my pal Chris at Mauer Chef Mauer Nice, right? And I say, hey, when I get done charging here, he goes, bring it in. We'll put air in it. And we checked it. He says, it's kind of low. Let's keep an eye on it. And it was flat this morning. So I got that to deal with. And then here's the thing. Not only am I done shoveling and blowing snow, I'm done changing tires on cars. I ain't going to do it. You know how many knuckles I've busted? You ever change a tire on a car? Do you know how to do it?
If it was a Survivor challenge, I would fail, probably. It would not go well for me.
You've never changed a tire on a car? Well, knowing the guy that travels, on aircraft, flies first class
Sure.
6-7 times a year,
Yeah.
I can see you probably have your chauffeur do that for you.
I don't have the calluses that you probably do. Yeah.
And then I think we talked about this a week or so ago, that little tiny spare tire that looks like it fits on a tricycle.
Yeah, the donut.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to drive 50 miles an hour and don't drive over 50 miles. So then I got to change the tire twice. I would take less storage area to have a real tire. And I get flat tires more than anybody. This is my fourth in a 2-year period.
Yeah.
Some of it's rough driving. I slammed into a curb, destroyed it immediately. Then another one, I don't know, I was taking a right off a Century to go home. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I don't even know where the hell I was. I certainly wasn't out drinking. I quit drinking. I don't know if I told you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
I just stopped going to the liquor store. Just when I go to a bar, instead of ordering a rum and Coke, I would just get Diet Coke medium ice. And that's it. And so I don't know, I hit the curb there too. And next thing I know, I have a flat tire there. And then my Impala had a flat tire about 6 months. I just get flat tires. I ran over a nail or something. It's like I'm the flat tire guy. That's my lot in life. I ain't changing anymore. I ain't going to take this jack and shove it. I ain't fixing no tires no more. I could write a country song that way. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I got AAA.
That's nice.
I've never used it. How many? I've paid AAA hundreds of dollars. I had to change the tire on the Cadillac once for Deuce. He calls me up. Yeah, flat tire up on Lake and Valley, on Radio and Valley Creek. The police officer pulled up. He was nice. He was shining the flashlight down so I could fix it. I just carved my knuckles to nothing on. Because there's always when you change a tire, the thing you have to do is when you put the lug nuts back on, don't tighten them too tight. Now you got to have them tight enough so they don't fall off and the wheel goes right when you're going left. That's bad, right? But if you have them on there too tight, you can't get them off the next time you need to change the tires. So and it's Woodbury problems. I get it. Driveway, and I'm not shoveling snow anymore this year. I'm done. Well, when I say this year, I mean this winter season. I'm just going to let it melt.
Should melt within the day.
It's supposed to be, well, I don't know about that because there's quite a bit of, because
it'll be 42 today.
Well, yeah. Did you see what's going to be Saturday? 73. Did you see what's going to be Sunday? 40. How is there a 33 degree? No, that's a 40 degree.
It's a big swing.
It's a huge swing.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between my swing and Scotty Scheffler's swing. It's a big swing in those swings. So,
you think the courses will be dried out by Saturday?
No. You're way too optimistic. You were so just a couple of weeks ago. You go, we're going to play. I said, no, we're not going to play yet. I did get 2 rounds in so far. I just don't see how, even with a 73 degree day, I don't know. I mean, we got what is it? 50s late? It's already late in the week. Pretty much. It's midweek.
Pretty much all week. It should be. Let's see, high of 41 today, 46 tomorrow, 45 Friday, and then Saturday, that's 72.
Yeah, maybe.
Call me a dreamer.
Don't fall in love with a dreamer.
That's right.
Do you know who did that song? Kenny Rogers and Kim Carnes.
No one to hold them.
Kenny Rogers. So we got a really big shoe today. You're in for Tennessee. I'm in for me. This is so good. This is like Van Morrison's Gloria. What's the name of the song?
Yeah, Baby.
Is it called Yeah, Baby?
Yeah,
it's Gloria. 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 Rock Talk. Speaking of music, Rock Talk at 1:15 with the legendary Brian Oak. And then the legendary Mark Rosen is back in studio just before 2 o'clock. So we got a little Distat Lat Plus Peek at the Purple. That's next. Common Man Program on the Fan.
The Fan celebrates our $5,000 winning teachers in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. It's powered by Donors Choose, and there's still time to nominate a public school teacher making a difference. They could be the next to win $5,000 to make over their classroom. Do it now, iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's a Brett Blakemore. Time now for what we like to call Peek at the Purple. Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Now, spring is not here yet, but it will be here on Friday. So I need to redo the recorded commercials because if they run on Friday, it's going to say, spring's not here yet. And it's like, well, no, it is. But so if you hear it on Friday, that, hey, spring's not here yet, that's on me.
Do you need someone to help you with that?
Well, here's the deal. I recorded some that said spring is here because I wanted to say spring is here when it was 55 degrees. And the folks at Affordable Electric said, Spring's not here yet, Common.
Yeah, not so fast.
And they're right, because we got 4 feet of snow and it's cold and it's not spring yet. So they were right. So I redid them. So there's another set somewhere in the system that says spring is here. So spring will be here Friday. And winter weather can be really hard on your electrical systems. Like if your lights, if they flicker, breakers trip, your panel's outdated, maybe time to get some electrical things done before the spring storms comes. Because then think about when those come. There's, hail and lightning, and it's awful. Ford Electric helps Twin Cities homeowners with panel upgrades, surge protection, and electrical repairs. Do not wait for the spring storms. Act now. Call or text Affordable Electric today at 612-331-8658. I'll say that slower. 612-331. This makes it simpler. Volt. 612-331-VOLT, or visit affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Oh, boy. Shockingly affordable. Again, a bit of a lull in the Vikings news, though I did see we have a new punter, according to the Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Vikings signed punter Johnny Hecker to a 1-year deal. He replaces Ryan Wright. He signed with the Saints last week. Hecker gives the Vikings a veteran. And he's apparently acclaimed for his holding skills and his punting. It's a Ben Gessling story. It says, in their search, he said, in their search to replace Ryan Wright at punter, I would write, in their relentless pursuit at perfection in the punter, which is too wordy, but that's the way I would have wrote it. The Vikings turned to a familiar face for much of their coaching staff. They signed Johnny Hecker, who earned 4 first-team All-Pro selections and 2 second-team honors while punting for the LA Rams. He's on a 1-year deal. The 36-year-old was last with the Rams in 2021 when the team won a big game with Kevin O'Connell as its offensive coordinator. He spent 3 seasons with Carolina after the Rams and punted for Tennessee. Last year, he was 22nd in the NFL in average yards per punt last season and 26th in net yards. But the Vikings' familiarity with him and his skills as a holder drew them to the veteran as Wright's replacement. My guess is O'Connell's also a punter whisperer. He'll be able to take him and he'll turn into the best punter there is. What player in what position can't the Vikings turn a guy into an all-pro? Well, their current quarterback, they had a little trouble with that, but it's still early. He's still early in his career. And he's a widely respected holder, too, which I think is actually more important. Here's how you get by with an average punter. Just make a lot of first downs and score tutties and figgies. Then you don't have to worry about punting. That's what I would do. I would make my punter obsolete. Matter of fact, I would challenge my offense and say, let's see if we can have the fewest punts in the history of the National Football League in one season. Give them something to shoot for. Give them a goal. I wonder what the fewest punts, can you Google that? What are the fewest punts by a team in one National Football League season? I'm going to take a guess. Sort of like that show, Let's Make a Deal, where you have to do you can't go under or you can't go over on Let's Make a Deal when I do. Or is that The Price is Right I'm thinking of? Price is Right. I'm going to say the fewest punts in an NFL season. Can you even find that stat? Don't tell me what it is if you do, because I want to guess.
I have the AI overview, which is never wrong and always right. So it does have an answer.
Okay. See, 2 a game would be 20. What's 17 times 2? 34. I can use before in a sentence. 2 plus 2 before. I'm going to say 36 times is the fewest.
You're under. It is more. In a 16-game season, the Dallas Cowboys in 2025 had the fewest punts in a season at 41.
41.
All time, there was a 9-game season in 1982 where the San Diego Chargers punted 23 times.
Wow.
But obviously, 9 games.
Yeah.
Less than
so
16.
41 is the lowest ever in a 16-game season, or 17? 17. Because that was in 2025. That was last year. Or am I wrong? Did I hear you wrong? I really wasn't listening.
It says 16-game season, but it says 2025, which was a 17 games. See what I'm saying? Not always right, but I've got it at 41.
Well, let's go at 41. Let's try to get under 41. That'd be my goal. Because then you don't need to have a really good punter. If you culminate most drives with a tutty, you don't really need a place kicker. You could think about this. You could actually say, well, no, you can't do that. The 2 roster spots are taken up. One is taken up by a guy that basically only gets on the field when the team fails. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't get a first down, if you have to punt, you have failed. The offense has failed. So you're a failure guy. But, then it's up to you to bail them out. Leaning on me again, are you? Now, kicker guy is kind of semi-fail. If you got to settle for a field goal effort, right? Then you compound that if you miss the field. Not only did we not get a tutty, the drive stalled, as they say. Guy couldn't kick it through the uprights either. So, but we got our punter now. Denny Hecker was the automobile. What's his first name again?
Johnny.
Hey, Johnny Hecker is our new punter.
Or as Paul Peterson would call him, Little Johnny Hecker.
Little Johnny Hecker.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this. Let's take a break and come back. I really do have some controversial Vikings. I came up with a really good idea for the quarterback position.
Oh.
I don't think anybody's ever thought of this. I think it's intriguing to say the least, probably stupid to say the most, but we're going to try it anyways. We'll do that next here on the Coming Back Program on the Fan.
Catch every tournament upset, every highlight with the Fan at Hop House. You can join Max Fuller, Zach Halverson. Bracket Bash watch parties this Friday, tipping off at 11 a.m., 3 p.m. Catch college hoops on the big screens, prizes all day, including 65-inch TVs. Get all the details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Sounds like a great time. Hope to see you there. So, Johnny Hecker, 1-year deal with the Vikings. He's their new punter. Financial particulars have not been released as of yet. Last year, he punted for like $1.2 million. So let's say he has to drop to $1 million this year, right? We're dropping you to $1 million. You want it or not? He's getting a little long in the tooth. Start accepting a little bit less money as time goes on. I'd say this to people all the time. That $1 million is more like $700,000. You got to buy a house, car. Yeah, you got to spend. Everything costs money. Let's be real. Everything costs money. Spend, save, invest, flaunt. That's $700,000 over 1 year. Can he make that last?
I always love that one.
That's the big question. So somebody sent me a email earlier today before I came into the radio station, regular listener. And I don't have it in front of me, but it was something to the effect of, do we really think there's not going to be a competition between McCarthy and Kyler Murray? I mean, it says, you guys seem to make the assumption that it's Murray's job. Are we giving up on McCarthy already? I don't know for sure if there's going to be a competition. I don't think there is competition. I think if you look at the body of work by the two people, it's Murray's job to lose. There might be. They might say, hey, you're even, Steven. Here's a football. Go out. Knock yourself out. If that is the case, I would still expect Murray to win the job, but maybe not, because part of that, the problem is McCarthy just doesn't have the experience that Murray has. Now, I know Murray, his last few years have not been, they've been so unacceptable. The Cardinals have decided to go in another direction. They were willing to eat over $30 million, like 36 something. They're ready to just eat that money. That's how disenchanted they are with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's also had the injury bug the last few years, if I'm not mistaken, sort of kind of like McCarthy. That being said, if you told me, I need you to start the season with either Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy, I'd say I'll start with Kyler Murray, but the Vikings might end up going in another direction. For me, the problem is McCarthy is so inexperienced. He was drafted 2 years ago. We know his litany. He missed his entire rookie season because of the knee injury. Then last year, he's only started a total of, 10 games? of a possible, whatever that number is, 34, 38, whatever. I don't remember what the number is. But he's had 4 injuries, a litany of injuries, including sprained ankle, concussion, the knee injury that he was out for the year, and then the hairline fracture. So he's only got 10 games of experience. And so I don't know, and then you can't get a lot of experience they've only do 3 preseason games. Is he going to play all 3 preseason games? Does Murray not need to play at all? Murray's learning a new system. I would think he's got to play a little bit, but I don't know. So how much time is there for McCarthy to get better? I think I have a solution. The 2026 UFL season kicks off Friday, March 27th. Birmingham Stallions are facing the expansion Louisville Kings. Who does Louisville as a quarterback? Could we loan J.J. McCarthy to the Louisville Kings?
Oh my gosh. Above average.
This is the United Football League's 3rd season. It's an 8-team, 10-week regular season. Runs through May 31st, followed by a 2-week postseason, which ends on June 13th. Check on my calendar. Vikings training camp starts June 13th or thereabouts. I think it's actually in July. This would give McCarthy a chance to play 10 games in the UFL. Now, it's not the NFL, but it would give him an opportunity to get some more experience under his belt. Can we loan him to the UFL? Is there something in the bylaws, the tri-laws, the quad laws of the National Football League and the Players Association that would prevent the Vikings looking at the Louisville Kings and saying, hey, here's your quarterback? I mean, think of the attention it brings to the UFL. It's never been done before that I know of, that a current NFL player is on loan to the UFL. Now, there's always the danger of injury, but you know what? Everything's a gamble, right? And this allows him to get some experience, reading defenses, aligning his eyes and his feet, throwing across the middle. Number nine. I don't, unless somebody can tell me where we have an issue. I mean, I guess it's probably a law thing, not law, but rules and regulations. But can't the UFL be sort of treated? I mean, I would think if the NFL was smart, they would get with it. It's sort of like with baseball has AAA, the Saints, right? Twins players that they feel are on the rise or coming off of rehabbing an injury. Well, they play for the St. Paul Saints. And they play minor league baseball in St. Paul over at CHS. And then when they are ready, they come up to the big club. He plays for the Louisville Kings. King McCarthy. What do you think?
I like that. This is the esoteric approach that you don't hear anywhere else.
That's exactly it. Are you going to hear that from Colin Cowherd?
No.
Are you going to hear that from Stephen A. Smith?
Probably not.
Just keep saying no. I'm going
okay.
Are you going to hear that from Stephen A. Smith?
No.
Are you going to hear that from Jim Rome?
No.
Are you going to hear that from... God, now I blew the line. Who's the guy that Walter used to bring up all the time, that Magnum PI guy? Google Magnum PI.
Well,
Tell me who the actor is.
I know it as soon as I
I know it too.
I'm going to know exactly who it is because I can picture his face. Tom Selleck.
Tom, you're not going to hear that from Tom Selleck, are you?
No.
No, you're not. You'll hear it one place and one place only, and that's the Common Man program, noon to 3.
I thought you were going to go the other way.
In what way would that be?
And maybe instead of having 2 quarterbacks, we have 4. Because that was suggested on the text line. We have 4 quarterbacks, you interchange them. That's where I thought you might be headed.
No. I know that people, and I'm not going to go down that road again. I'll just do the condensed version. When I brought up the idea of signing 4 or 5 of the best free agent running backs in pro football and having them in the same backfield, I got mocked and ridiculed. That's the stupidest thing anybody ever heard of. Okay. I was totally serious about it. I still am to this day. I just think, and again, I know that running backs, they want to carry the ball a lot. And that's apparently why David Montgomery was unhappy in Detroit. Demo, what's the difference if you're making $7.1 million carrying the ball 6 times a game or 24 times a game? 24 times a game just opens you up for more injury. It shortens your career. That's been the whole spiel about running backs. The running backs, if you'll remember, there was I don't know if it was a concerted effort, and I don't know if anybody ever did it where they, it's the word I'm looking for, where they really made it, where they made a real effort. Running backs wanted to start their own separate union because most running backs last 5 years and they're done because they take such a beating that they're basically, they're like tenderized meat, right? And then they're done. They have their 5 years under the rookie deal where they make their few $1 million and they're out and they're done. So it's like, if you want to extend your career, I mean, can you, seriously, I don't know why it's such a crazy idea. Do you know how they used to win? Ask Bill Parcells about running games and defenses. They didn't throw the ball. They had 2 quarterbacks Phil Simms, and did we just talk about this yesterday? Phil Simms, and who was the other guy?
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Jeff Hostetler.
Yes.
Well, how did they win with it? Well, because they had a great running game. Now, I think they only had 1 running back, but imagine if he had, and if you think 5's too many, even 4, they'll go with 3. The Miami Dolphins did that. They won a big game. Now, they had a great defense. They're the only team that won an entire season in the modern era undefeated. They went 17-0. And they had 3 running backs. Look it up. Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, and Mercury Morris. 3 different kinds of backs. Zonka was your bulldozer guy. Your Sonic and Knuckles. Jim Kick was a little bit more, he was like, and then Mercury Morris was a guy, well, they called him Mercury because he was so fast. That was his name. And those 3 guys were great. And they won 17 games and never lost. And, Greasy was a good quarterback. He might even be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. And he had Paul Warfield as a receiver, but that was really all they had for a passing game. And then their defense was just so strong. So, but no, I wasn't thinking that here. I'm just thinking McCarthy needs reps. He needs to play. But that's chicken or egg. If you play, let's say you decide you want it. That's why they want to, if time's on your side, if time was on your side as a franchise, as a coaching staff, well, you wouldn't worry. You just go, okay, let's just play McCarthy for 2-3 years and find out what he's got. The league doesn't have the patience for that. Ownership doesn't. Coaching staff doesn't. The other veteran players on the team. And most importantly, the fans. We don't have time to let some guy, well, let's see what he can do over the next 3-4 years and develop him. So what do? So if they decide to play him, what if he's awful right away? What if he had, would you just give him 1 series where he's awful in the first game of the season? Do you give him a quarter, a half, a game, 2, 3, 4, half a season, all season? Do you let him play all season long? Sometimes it takes. Well, look what happened with Sammy Darnold, a prime example. It took him a failed year with the Jets or 2. How many seasons did he play before he got to Minnesota?
Quite a bit. Like 6, 7?
Yeah, 6, 7. So it's like sometimes it takes a while for a guy to figure it out. But if you'll notice, he didn't get 6, 7 years with the same franchise. It's a fast-moving league, man. What have you done for me lately? We got to move. We can't sit there and be mired in mediocrity or worse because ticket sales go down. The league doesn't like it. You got 2 terrible teams facing each other late in the National Football League season. The ratings aren't there, man. No one's watching. If you have, who are 2 terrible teams? Detroit will be terrible this year. So let's say you got the Lions playing, and the Vikings will probably be terrible this year. Vikings, Lions, who's watching that? Just the diehards. While the game of the week is Packers, Bears. Just saying it makes me sick to my stomach. But, how about his quarterback? That gives him 10 games. It's not the same as playing with the purple. Right? Stallions might be better. I don't know. Now there are the Kings. The Kings are are a expansion franchise. But I think this has potential. Now, here's the other issue. What if McCarthy can't beat out the kid that's playing for the Louisville Kings? But then you know.
Yeah, then you got Kyler.
Well, then you know it's Kyler all the way.
Yeah. Soccer teams in Europe do this all the time. This is common practice.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you were...
Loans are a real thing that you can do.
I didn't know you were a soccer aficionado.
Oh, I'm a big fan. Not right now because my team's terrible.
And NFL player be loaned to the UFL? Let's see what AI says. It's thinking. No. NFL players cannot be loaned to the UFL in a formal mid-contract capacity like in soccer. You're right. NFL contracts prohibit playing in other leagues due to injury risks. However, players who are released on futures contracts or not on active rosters can join the UFL. And certain NFL teams have pipeline rights to players, says Pro Football Newsroom. There's no official agreement for NFL teams to loan players to the UFL for development, though it has been discussed as a potential future. I say the future is now. Now. Let's get it done now. Let's just put together some hastily arranged meeting. Pipeline system. UFL teams have assigned partnerships with specific NFL teams to have first rights to their cuts or released players, according to Pro Football Newsroom in the UFL. Contract release to play in the UFL, an NFL player on a contract would need to request a release from their NFL team. Futures contracts. Players on NFL futures contracts could potentially be assigned to UFL teams in a formal arrangement were it ever implemented. Why hasn't this been done? Why did the wheels of justice, because this is only fair, why do the wheels of justice always move so slowly? In short, while they cannot be loaned, players often move from the NFL to UFL and back through releases and signings rather than direct temporary loan assignments. It can be done. Can you make it last? How good is that idea?
I think it's brilliant.
Now you have to remember, I was the commissioner of the Mid-America Football League. That's a true story.
Oh.
Terry Sullivan started the Mid-America Football League with there are semi-pro football teams all over the country. There are leagues everywhere, teams that play during the spring and the summer. Mid-America Football League, the players on the teams, like they had the St. Paul Stampeders or whatever, they had like 8 or 10 teams. I think one of them was in North Dakota, one was in South Dakota, a bunch in Minnesota. And the players had to pay in order to be on the team. And it was former high school guys and college players that they were beyond, they didn't make it in the NFL. They weren't playing in any other leagues. It was just like, it was so semi-pro, It's like, hey, guess what? We're putting together a team. Which is like, well, sure. You have to buy your own equipment, stuff like that. But people played it, and Terry was brilliant because he was going, how can I get public relations for this league? How can I get the word out there? That guy that's on KFAN, the guy who he doesn't like to talk about himself. He doesn't like to make things about him.
I always love that.
Why don't I make him the commissioner of the league? So what do you think I did for weeks on end? Talked about being the commissioner of the Mid-America Football League. He got so much publicity. The guy was, he knew what he was doing. I just told the story to Deuce the other day. I've recanted this tale before. I still have a replica of the Commissioner's Cup, and my name is on it. It says Terry Sullivan, President, and then it says Dan Cole, Commissioner. I wasn't much of a commissioner. I'm not making this up. The championship game was held at McAllister. I left at halftime. I was supposed to present the trophy at the end.
And to beat the traffic.
They're looking I had to beat the traffic. They're looking all over for me. Well, where's the commissioner? He left a half an hour ago. It's like, remember, Elvis has left the building. The commissioner's left the building. And it was
so on brand.
Let's just say, speaking of brand, the brand of football left a little bit to be desired. To be desired. And I just couldn't do it. It's tough for me to stay for the full 60 minutes in an NFL game, much less minutes. The Mid-American Football League, I think it ran through mid to late 2000s. So it had a nice run. I think it is now completely defunct. This text message says, just as a matter of common sense, I make a point of not trusting a story from a guy who has to preface the story with, this is a true story. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. Isn't that what they say on Law and Order?
I think so, yeah.
It's on my not Wikipedia. I don't have a Wikipedia page. On my the bird thing, Twitter.
Yes.
It says, there's a quote from me, I lie for a living, but I'm honest about it. I'm telling you I'm lying. So I just want to let you know. Well, because some of the stories are so, like if I just said, I was a commissioner of the Mid-America, you wouldn't believe it. So I have to say, this is really true. You have to trust me on this one. Matter of fact,
so you were not the commissioner?
No, I was. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I was? No, that's what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
You just said you were lying to me.
No, I lie for a living, but I'm honest about it. I'm not lying about that. So I literally was the commissioner of Mid-America Football League. So I understand how leagues operate. I know the machinations. I understand the hoops you need to jump through, the steeples that need to be chased, the hurdles that need to be hurdled. I could get this thing done. This only makes perfect sense to me. It's a feeder system. Give J.J. McCarthy an opportunity to play in the UFL, and it's obviously it's at a different time of the season. Get your undrafted free agents, get them some experience, just see how good they can really be. They do it in all the other sports. Does the Wild have a team down in Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa Wild.
I wonder why that is. Because it's a good idea. How about the Minnesota Timberwolves? Don't they have a D-League? Well, that D-League is playing right now. They just played last night. No, you know what they won last night? I'm about to say something really controversial.
That's interesting.
As we go to 5-3-4. The Wolves are a better team without Anthony Edwards.
Oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
I think they are. We'll break. We'll come back with 5-3-4. And then Brian Oak, Rock Talk, Mark Rosen. What do you got for a little 5-3-4 tease?
Both the winner teams are winners.